Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Okay, race fans, welcome back. It's another Sunday evening. That means it's time to do some Apex this fixed Ferrari racing. This week we head to the Hungaroring, and don't be fooled by the sun and the clouds out there. It's actually coming down rain. Qualifying just underway. Practice ended in dry, and then as soon as it clicked over to qualifying, what do we see? The clouds open up and the rain starting to fall. Week 7. It's got us officially on the back half of the season here now, and our drivers starting to chase towards the end of the season, heading towards the championship. Let's take a look at our conditions. We're at the Hungaroring, as I mentioned. We've got 68-degree track temp, 67-degree air temp, so relatively cool temps out there. But again, our drivers having to deal with a little bit of rain. You can see the rain falling down all around them. I'm not sure how long the rain expected to last in this one. Unfortunately, got a little behind getting into the session here this evening. Had a little bit of a glitch, so hopefully we get that all back up and underway here and have no problems going forward. But take a quick look here at what the weather forecast is. Track right now, lightly wet, 20% chance of rain continue on through the race. It looks like it's actually come to a halt there now, but as mentioned, our drivers on track for qualifying. Let's see if we can hop on board here with a couple of them, see what kind of times we're putting in at this point in time. Currently on board here with Brian Lemke, sitting in second place in qualifying as it stands right now. Lemke, one of our championship contenders. We'll take a look at the championship points in a few moments here. There's only got about 2 minutes left in qualifying to go before we get into the session. Lemke's strong race last week. See if he can repeat it again here this week. Brian's in, another driver that up towards the front, battling for championship points. Didn't have a great race last week at the Bend. Got wrapped up in an incident early on, and unfortunately that was pretty much all she wrote for Zin last week. But you see a little bit of spray kicking up from the back end of the cars. Not a whole lot of rain come down, although you can see some in the camera, but it's just a little bit on this area of the track where it's coming down. Over otherwise, the rest of the track looks like it's fairly dry out there. Sean Teeter currently sitting in 4th place across the line. Not going to have enough time to put in another lap, so it looks like he's going to have to settle for starting in 4th. Kelly Greenhoe, the guy who we've seen have some great qualifying efforts, but then unfortunately struggle a little bit once the race has started. See if Kelly can eradicate those demons this week as he's trying to get himself firmly up into the championship battle right now, sitting up top of the qualifying standings as it stands right now. A nice run by Kelly. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that as the qualifying comes to an end here. Less than a minute to go. Looks like Kelly gonna pull it off. Realized he didn't have much of a chance to get around to finish up that lap. Currently sitting on top of the standings, so he really doesn't really have a whole lot to gain. But let's go on board here with Brian Zinn. Take a look and see what the conditions look like out the window. You see the spray kicking off the back of the car on the rear view monitor on the dash. Zinn trying to find the wet line out there now. If you're unfamiliar to rain races, the normal traditional line isn't the optimal way around during the rain, because you have the rubber buildup from all the races that passed on the racing line. When it rains out, it gets real slick, so you gotta try and kind of lean off that line a little bit, find alternate track lines or race lines around the track, so you're gonna want to stay a little bit to the left or the right of where the normal race line would be, and take a little more of a 90-degree turn into the corners. You don't really want to try and get up on the curbs by any means, but that's gonna be it for qualifying. Just take a second here for timing and scoring to click over at the end, and we'll have a quick look at the starting grid. Kelly Greenhoe going to hold on to his top spot ahead of Brian Lemke. Brian Zinn, Sean Teeter going to make up row 2. Ozzik Sulu, Joseph Maher going to make up row 3 in 5th and 6th. And then Mark Miller and Justin Atchison going to start in 7th and 8th. Sean Giroux in 9th, Jesse Meager in 10th, Christopher Diaz and Corey Mitchell going to round out the top 12. Starting tail on the field, we'll find Kent Kruger, the Chief Admin, in 13th, and Felix Cox, a new driver. Welcome in Felix in 14th place. So our drivers getting up on the grid. A couple minutes to go here before the clock ticks down to end up the gridding session. So what we have at the moment, let's take a look here now at our championship standings here. So on the amateur side of things, also called the mid-pack Larrys, Chris Diaz leading the way, 4 points ahead of Aaron Sunday. Ozzik Sulu in 3rd, a couple points up on Kent Kruger. So a couple battles still, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We go back a little bit for Sean Giroux, Jesse Meager, Uwe Hale, Rob Fellon, Donald Mensing, and Tony Phillips going to round out the top 10. Over on the pro side of things, we've got Justin Atchison leading the way, 97 points, 6 points up on Joseph Maher. And then another 9 points back to Brian Zinn in 3rd. Sean Teeter in 4th. Mark Miller going to round out the top 5. Kelly Greenhoe 1 point up on Brian Lemke for 6th place. Then we got to find Michael Cummings, Corey Mitchell, and Jonathan Cooper rounding out the top 10. Okay, looks like we have all of our drivers on grid now. Just waiting for the Porsche pace car to pull away and lead the pack. There we go, as usual. This is a timed race, 45 minutes. Our drivers are fuel limited. They will have to come in to make a pit stop at some point in time. They won't need tires. Well, I guess unless it dries out. It'll be interesting to see. As we saw, there's only about 20% chance of rain continuing, although it is picked up again here now. Be interesting to see how our drivers contend with it. This is a go on green race. Our drivers will have to wait for the green flag. It's not go on the leaders. So in formation here down front straight. There we go. Green flag's dropped. Kelly Greenhoe going to lead them down into turn 1. Brian Lemke trying to make a move around the outside. He's got to late brake. So far he's up on the outside. Can he hold on to that position in and around the outside turn 1? So he's going to do it. Greenhoe having to back off on the inside. Joseph Maher just ahead of Brian Zinn in behind them. Excellent start for Brian Lemke. Away from, Zinn going to go deep into the brakes. He's going to go off track. Looks like he's going to gather it up before it heads into the wall. But Zinn a little optimistic on his brake markers there heading into turn 3. Gets it gathered up though. Comes back out right in front of Sean Teeter. Teeter had to back out that one, not to get into the back of Brian Zinn. So Sean Teeter, no doubt, not overly impressed with that move, but see Justin Atchison looking up the inside of Sean Teeter up ahead. They ought to try to go too wide through that section. It's really dicey in the dry, let alone in the rain, but thankfully both of our drivers were able to make it through there. Let's go back up front though. Brian Lepke already opening up himself a nice little gap here over the field. 7/10 over second place, Kelly Greenhoe. Greenhoe firmly ahead of Joseph Mara. Joseph Mara had a strong race last week until the very end. A little bit of an incident, so looking for a nice recovery this week from him. So a little further back in the pack, Corey Mitchell, driver that got involved with Brian Zinn at the start of the race last time. Not by Corey's doing by any means, but Zinn got wrapped up with another car. Unfortunately for Corey, that meant Zinn got shot over in front of him, into him. So there wasn't much Corey could do at that point in time. He was just kind of along for the ride. So we'll see what kind of recovery Corey has this week. Has been driving his traditional Murder Motorsports paint scheme. Mitchell Motorsports paint scheme, just running a basic red, white, and black. Normally he's got it labeled up with the Mitchell Motorsport logos on it, but Corey just going plain Jane this week. Let's go on board with him and come around to finish up the first lap. See what kind of conditions our drivers are facing out there. So the rain not all that heavy. You don't see a whole lot of spray coming off the car ahead of Christopher Diaz. So fairly tame, we'll say, so far as far as spray. There's sometimes some conditions where you can't really see much at all ahead of you. But right now our driver's doing well not to get too involved. Just ahead of Corey Mitchell, we've got Sean Giroux. And looks like Sean Teeter running the same monster paint scheme again this week. Is Giroux going to go deep into turn 3? That's going to drift him out wide. He's going to have to gather back up. Chris Diaz lurking in behind. So what I was saying is Giroux and Teeter wearing the same paint skins. Sometimes we'll get them a little confused as they're running the exact same paint. Last week they were on track, one in front of the other, so it was a little dicey to figure out who was who, but they got it sorted out. Let's pop back up here. Brian Zinn, as he's got some pressure from Joseph Mara now. Zinn's got around Joseph Mara. Let's take a quick look here at how that happened, and then we'll get back to the racing action. So, looks like Mara ran deep out of turn 1. Zinn was able to hold it much tighter, and that allowed him to get around. So, unfortunately for Joseph Mara, he's going to drop back a spot, but he's still putting a ton of pressure on Brian Zinn right now. Mara up 2 places where he qualified, so showing some strong speed early in the rain. Is Sean Teeter getting loose in the background there? Had to go way out ride to gather that car up just ahead of Justin Atchison. Atchison will be licking his chops now with that mistake from Teeter. Looks like Teeter's still struggling a little bit. So kind of pressure that Atchison could put on him here. Let's go on board with Atchison, see what he's seeing out of his front windshield here. Looks like Teeter getting gathered up a little bit. Joseph Mara just ahead of him, going way out wide again in the final corner, trying to get a run on Brian Zinn. Gets up on the curbing and onto the paint. Not only are the curbs slippery in the wet, you get onto the painted surfaces and you lose a lot of grip there too as well. So battle of late breakers. Mara trying to go deep under the brakes around Brian Zinn. Zinn gonna have the inside line. Mara able though to utilize that AK, air quotes, can't see me right now, but I'm doing air quotes, wet line around the outside where there's not the built-up rubber, but unfortunately for him, he's going to bleed out again into turn 3. This allows Zinn to look up the inside, but Mara going to cut back across from Zinn up on the curbs. Dicey situation there. Let's go on board with Zinn. If he can make the move up the right-hand side, Joseph Mara. Mara going to go deeper onto the brakes, up on the curb. That's going to compromise his exit, though. So he's able to carry a little more pace through that section, though, than Zinn. Zinn trying to undercut him, doing the old switchback. I'm hearing somebody hitting the wall out there. Looks like possibly Kent Kruger and Ozik Sulu having a bit of an issue. We'll take a look at that in a few moments as we continue on to watch this battle between Brian Zinn and Joseph Mara. This is for final step on the podium. They're battling it hard right now, early on in the race, only 5.5 minutes into this 40-minute race. Oh, Zinn gets a big run up on Mara there. Had to back out and check up. Make sure he didn't get into the back of Joseph Mara. I gotta say, I like that paint job. Brian Zinn's rocking the old Garfield orange paint. It's sharp. Whoever painted that up did a excellent job. It's got my vote for livery of the day right now. This is still our closest battle on track. Let's take a look back here from Joseph Mara's wing at what's going on behind him. Is now Sean Teeter's caught up in this battle. Teeter, the green and black monster themed car in behind, not to be confused with Sean Giroux. That is the other Sean Teeter trying to get involved in this battle. Looks like we got a moment here. Let's see what happened to Kent Kruger first. It's the big dog Chief Admin. Oh, he's going to dive it deep there onto the braking section. Gets it wound back up. Comes back on track. So just a matter of time lost there for Kent. I think Jesse Meager had an inch or two as well. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, up on the curves. They're trying to brake. And this car is just aren't happy in the situation. Looks like the same corner that Kent Kruger went off. And then finally, it looks like Ozek Sulu had a bit of an adventure too as well. Oh, unfortunately for him, he's going to get into the wall. Heavy hit for Xulu. Our drivers do get a fast repair, so he can pop into the pits, get that car repaired quickly, but that's some heavy damage, heavy impact for Ozek Sulu. Let's pop back up here to this battle. Zin still trying to chase down Joseph Marr. Sean Teeter in tow. Justin Atchison now starting to creep into this battle. The more they battle up ahead, oh, I say that, Atchison's going to go deep into the chicane, braking into the kitty litter, getting himself back on track, but tons of debris getting thrown up on track now. Not only are our drivers going to have to deal with the wet weather out there, now they're having to deal with a bunch of debris being strewn across the track. Oh no, it looks like something happened to Kent Big Dog Kruger. Looks like this one was a full-on crash this time. Let's go on board here with the Chief Admin. Coming into the brake marker. Looks like Kent coming in very gingerly. Oh, he just had no grip there at all. Looks like Kent's gonna call it a day. Interesting. Up front though, Kelly Greenhoe. Brian Lemke chased off ahead of him at the start of the race. Greenhoe reeling him back in. So they're going to come around to start lap 5. Greenhoe now putting pressure on the back of Lemke. 3/10 now separating these two drivers. So kind of pressure that Greenhoe can put on. You see the spray kicking off up ahead. Looks like the rain is starting to diminish here. Be interesting to see how quickly the track dries out once the rain does stop. See if our drivers will need to pop in and get some slicks. Let's take a look at the weather. Pop the weather up here quickly. There we go, 0% chance of rain now. So the rain is done. Just a matter of whether it's going to stay away. Now quickly the track dries out. Not hot track temps out there tonight. 69 Fahrenheit isn't going to dry the track off real quick. So it'll be interesting to see. We still got a ways to go. Over 30 minutes left in this race still. Is Greenhoe putting a ton of pressure now on the back of Brian Lemke. It's exactly what he needs to do. Try and force a mistake from Lemke up ahead. See if he's able to force a mistake from Lemke, or he's going to try and buy a time. The other thing you can do here is, I mentioned, they do need to make a pit stop at some point in time because it is a fuel limited race. Greenhoe could save some fuel in the draft here behind a Lemke, do a little lifting, coasting, and then just leapfrog him through pit strategy. We'll have to see if it works out that way, but right now it looks like Greenhoe fairly content to stay within a few tenths back of Lemke right now in second place, but Lemke going to have to be wary of Greenhoe in behind. Just take a look back here from Brian Lemke's tail. Greenhoe thought about looking up the inside there. Looks like Kelly getting in and out of the corners a little quicker than Brian Lemke is. Lemke going to have to try and find a little bit of pace. Looks like Lemke was better when the rain was coming down. But now as the rain stopped, Kelly Greenhoe starting to find a little more pace again. So they're going to head across the line to finish up lap 6. Into the braking section they go, or turn 1. Both drivers tight on the inside using the curb. It's surprising. Normally you don't want to get up on the curbs in the rain. You want to kind of stay off it a little bit. Can get slick. Trying to get back on power there, so both of them feeling fairly comfortable with the traction up on that curb. Let's go back here a little farther as Brian's in. Sean Teeter now battling it out for 4th place. We saw Zin battling with Joseph Marr early on, but they've fallen back. Marr now opened up 3.2 seconds over Sean Teeter, 2.5 seconds over Brian's in. Teeter getting a little bit of damage on the front end of his Ferrari there. It's definitely hurting. Oh no, Kelly Greenhoe has gone off track. So what was looking promising, putting pressure on the back of Brian Lemke. Unfortunately for Greenhoe, he's taken a bit of an excursion. Let's see exactly what happened to Kelly Greenhoe. And he's coming into the brakes. Oh, and he just lost the back end. Wonder if he's running just a little bit too much brake bias there. He's kind of lost the back end. Fortunately for him, keeps it off the wall. No damage, just lost position and time right now. It's going to drop him back into this battle between Brian Zinn and Sean Teeter, though. We've seen Greenhoe has the pace. He should be able to pull ahead from those two drivers. Looks like he's already actually in the midst of doing that right now as he's opened up a quick 1.3 seconds over Brian Zinn. He's actually got Joe Samara not too far ahead of him, so Kelly Greenhoe could get himself back up into second place here fairly quickly with the pace that he's shown early on. See if he's able to translate that into regaining second. Something happened to Justin Atchison too as well. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened to him. Looks like the same corner that we just saw Kelly Greenhoe have issues with. Again, similar incident where he just lost the back end. Interesting stuff to see both drivers kind of have the same type of slide and spin in the same corner. I'll have to keep an eye on that as the race goes on. See if anybody else suffers the same kind of issues. Looks like Brian Zinn going to pop into the pits early on. He's going to try and get himself out of the pressure that Sean Teeter was putting on him. This could be a wise move, or could be I don't want to say terrible move, but it could be an issue if the track dries out. As I mentioned, the rain has stopped. Be interesting to see how quickly a dry line develops here. Drivers don't necessarily need to take tires, but if the track dries out, they definitely would want to get off the rain tires and onto some slicks, because you would lose a number of seconds a lap being on the rain tires in a dry condition race. But we still have plenty of time to see how that plays out. Let's go on board with Chris Diaz. Diaz just over a second back of Justin Atchison. See Atchison just lurking ahead in that red and black Ferrari. Trying to reel in Atchison for 6th place. Sean Giroux a little farther back of them. Jesse Meager as well. Meager we saw have a little bit of an excursion early on. He's got that gathered back up. Let's see what kind of paint job that Meager has on his car here. What is that? May the force be with you. That must be something from Star Wars that I don't understand. I haven't followed Star Wars in years and years, so unfortunately it looks pretty cool. I don't understand it though. Corey Mitchell, he's got himself up 2 places by via attrition. Currently 5 seconds back of Jesse Meager up ahead, and 5 seconds ahead of newcomer Philip Cox. So welcome to the league, Philippe. Looks like our first Chilean driver in the league. So welcome, Felipe. Could be Felipe, could be a Philippe. We'll have to see if we can get clarification later on that from him. But right now, currently driving in 11th place, got himself up 3 places from where he qualified. I believe he started on the back row with Kent Kruger, so good work by him. Looks like we've lost Brian Zinn. See, he had a wreck coming out. Oh, Ozzik Sulu still driving around with that front end missing on his car. Saw what happened early on, but looks like he's lost even more of the front end. So Xulu definitely down a little bit on aerodynamic downforce on the front end of that car. But let's see if we can try and find what happened to Brian Zinn. So he's back on track after his pit cycle. Contact with a car. Not sure if that was Sean Giroux or Sean Teeter. I think it was Sean Teeter. Let's see here. It was Teeter. So get together coming out of the corner. It's going to push Zinn off, and it looks like Zinn just going to go call it quits at that point in time. Joseph Meyer, Kelly Greenhoe now battling it out. Greenhoe driving deep into the final corner. Almost went flying off track. Thought for a minute he was going to just head right out into the wall. With Meyer, Greenhoe, and Teeter not too far behind. See if the three of them can link up here and try and chase back down Brian Lemke. Lemke enjoying the clear air up front after Kelly Greenhoe had his little spin. Allowed Lemke to get a nice comfortable gap up ahead. He's just been able to put it on a little bit of cruise control right now. Yeah, can't afford to take his foot off the gas too much here though, as this battle in behind for second place. The more they keep pushing each other, they will start closing down the gap on Lemke up ahead. Oh, looks like we have Brian's in the YouTube chat here. He's saying, such a crap combination this week. There we go. We know how Brian's in feels about the combo this week. I'd have to disagree with him. I think Hungaroring is a great track. Probably not so much in the rain, but I think it's actually a great track for racing. Kelly Greenhoe losing a bit of time there on Joseph Meyer. Falling back now to 1.2 seconds. Teeter as well falling back to 1.2 seconds too as well, back at Greenhoe. A little further back though, Diaz inching ever so closer to Justin Atchison. Diaz up 4 spots on the day. Last lap time for Christopher Diaz, a 158.8 to Justin Atchison's 159.9. Diaz with a quick lap. Actually, that was his fastest lap of the race for Diaz. His fastest lap, about 4/10 quicker than Justin Atchison. So if he can continue to put down that pace, we're going to have a battle here for 6th place in a matter of a lap or two. Oh, we have clarification from Brian saying it's a fixed setup in the rain that he's not liking. Fair enough. Fair enough. I've never been a big fan of any fixed setup racing in the rain in iRacing. You should be able to at least adjust the traction control in ABS. You're stuck with a fixed amount of traction control in ABS in the rain. It just doesn't make any sense. But you see Atchison now feeling the pressure from Diaz. They've got Mark Miller just up ahead of him too. We haven't mentioned Mark Miller. He's had a quiet race, got himself up into 5th place. But Atchison and Diaz slowly lurking up on his back end. This could be a battle for 5th place. Top 5 up for grabs right now. Oh, pardon me, I had to grab a drink there. A little bit of a dry throat today, but Diaz almost gets into the rear end of Atchison there. Let's go on board with Chris Diaz. See how the conditions are looking now as far as spray. So a little bit of spray kicking up. Track's still fairly wet. You see the rain falling down again, although last I checked, it looked like it said the rain had stopped to check the weather again. 2% chance of rain right now. Track's still lightly wet. 3% chance keeps going up and down. So it's raining on parts of the track right now. The back half of the track, the last sector, currently getting some rain. That's where these drivers are working through now. Okay, let's go back up front here. Kelly Greenhoe still working on recovering from his latest little off-track excursion. Dropped him back about 1.2 seconds back of Joseph Meyer. Sean Teeter still hanging in as well, although he's fallen a little bit back off Greenhoe. Now about 1.8 seconds back of Kelly Greenhoe. We'll see if Teeter's able to close that gap back up again. Oof, slower sector there for Joseph Meyer. This allowed Kelly Greenhoe to really close that gap. We got a battle now again for 2nd place. Oh, Meyer getting squirrely. A little heavy on the rear brake bias, looks like, for Joseph Mara. That car was dancing into the corner. Kelly Greenhoe was really able to close up that gap. See now if Greenhoe can keep the pressure on, try and force a mistake from Joseph Mara. We saw last time Greenhoe was this close. He unfortunately had a little bit of an off-track excursion himself. They've actually closed back in on Brian Lemke too as well. Lemke not too far ahead of this battle now, only 1.8 seconds, as we're just past the halfway mark. So we could have a battle for top spot in the race here, a matter of times if Mara and Greenhoe continue to reel back in Lemke. Greenhoe looking to the outside, going to try and cross over Joseph Mara. Mara able to get a little more acceleration of the corner than Greenhoe. See the various lines there, but these two drivers, Joseph Mara trying to take a more wider angle into the corners, trying late apex. Looks like virtually every corner he's trying to throw a late apex in there. Kelly Greenhoe taking a little more traditional line. Looks like the traditional line working a little better right now in these conditions. See if Greenhoe can translate it into a move here as we go on board with Kelly Greenhoe. Again, on the more traditional race line. I'm going down through the gears. See Joseph Mara getting a little squirrely out of turn one, but still able to get back into the throttle a little quicker than Greenhoe. Greenhoe having to wait that little extra second as he is on the inside line, and that's where I mentioned the rubber buildup on the inside. It'd be a little slick. You can't really hammer into the throttle, but Mara going deep again. Almost every corner we're seeing Joseph Mara going out wide and then arcing the car back in. So he's able to get a little more acceleration out of the corners doing that, with Greenhoe having to kind of wait that extra half a second or so before he can get back into the throttle, taking the tighter, more traditional line. They've now caught Lemke though. It's now a three-way battle for top spot. See if Lemke pulls some strategy now that they've caught him. Maybe he'll duck into the pits, maybe he won't. He's got a ton of pressure now from Joseph Mara and Kelly Greenhoe. Oof. Lemke sliding it into that corner. Not a whole lot of aero on these cars. They're more or less, you know, street versions of the 296 with a wing on the back, a couple little Cunards here and there. They definitely don't have the braking system of a GT3 machine. A whole ton of power though, which in these type of conditions can be really dicey, as we've seen a number of drivers come to grips with, or I guess not come to grips with. Kelly Greenhoe now the trailing car on this battle. To go on board here from Kelly's roof. So trying to chase those two cars up ahead into the final corner. So all three of them running a similar line through the final corner now. Oh, Joseph Mara a little squirrely as he got onto the throttle up on the red and white curbs. Trying to gather the car back up, see if Kelly tries to make a move into turn one. No, he's going to stay where he is for right now. Brian Lemke really slowing up into the corners. A little bit of a cork in the bottle potentially right now for Lemke. I mentioned earlier when Greenhoe caught him, Lemke quick when it was raining, but as the rain stopped, the track dried out a little bit. Started to lose his pace, but we're seeing the rain pick it back up again here. So see if Lemke's able to find that pace he had early on, as Greenhoe falling back a little bit through the last sector here on the back of Joseph Mara, as Mara trying to charge forward, chase down Lemke up ahead. Let's go on board here with Joseph Mara. And taking a little more of a wider line. You can see on the inside of the curb there that water pooling on the inside. The driver's trying to stay out of that as much as they can. Not only will the car hydroplane, but you get into the throttle in a deep puddle like that, it's just going to spin the back end around, as we've seen happen to a couple drivers. Couple black Ferraris battling it out at the front of the field here, the 000. Joseph Mara trying to find his way around the 041 of Brian Lemke. Couple drivers that are battling up towards the top of the pro side of the championship battling standings as well. Actually, Kelly Greenhoe in that battle too as well. So none of these three are going to want to give up a position to the other. Still plenty up for grabs. Pop back here though. We had a battle between Mark Miller, Justin Atchison, and Chris Diaz. saw this earlier where Diaz had caught the back action. Action going to go wide. Diaz going to get around him. That's going to promote Christopher Diaz up into sixth place. It's going to drop Justin Atchison down to 7th. Now we'll see if he can catch Mark Miller up ahead. Currently our 5th place driver. So he can make a move around him. Let's pop back up to that lead battle though. Lemke still holding off Joseph Marr as it stands. Greenhoe been unable to reel the 2 leaders back in. Greenhoe going wide through turn 4. Into the really tricky turn 5. See Brian Lemke going real gentle and gingerly through there. The rain has stopped again on the back half of the track, so see once they get around to the front side if it's still raining up there or if the conditions have changed yet again. Let's do a check in our weather. Yeah, 0% chance of rain right now. Just cloudy, lightly wet track still. Looks like our drivers are going to finish up on the rain tires. As with only about 12 minutes to go, track isn't going to dry out enough for the slicks. So unfortunately, that tire strategy's gone out the window. Let's pop back here. Justin Atchison, we saw him lose that spot to Chris Diaz, but he's not just going to settle for falling down to 7th place, trying to catch back up to Diaz fairly quickly. Had put a little bit of pressure on Diaz, but squarely out of that final corner for Atchison's dropped him back another 0.8 off the back of Diaz. Diaz trying to chase down Mark Miller up ahead. He's starting to reel him in. We checked on these drivers a few minutes ago. That gap was about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Diaz has that down now to 1.1. If you keep pushing forward, you'll be able to reel in Mark Miller. Last lap time by for Diaz, 158.8 to 159.2 for Mark Miller. So he definitely has the pace to do it. Still status quo up front. Lemke leading the way over Joseph Marr and Kelly Greenhoe. Although it looks like Greenhoe starting to reel them back in again. We've seen Greenhoe reel in close and then kind of have a little bit of an incident. Get squirrely, have to go wide and collect it up. I think he might need to change his strategy here. The 2 cars in front of him driving a more traditional wet line, and they seem to be getting out of the corners a little quicker than Greenhoe, so he might have to adjust his strategy here to try and find a little more pace. We got Corey Mitchell now trying to put a move on Jesse Meager. It's a battle for 9th place. Meager currently holding down that spot. Mitchell looking up the inside into turn 1. Let's see who can get back in the throttle. Oh, Corey's going to give him a little slide job. He'll take that spot away. That's going to promote Corey Mitchell up 3 spots into 9th place. We'll see now if he's able to run away from Jesse Meager. Sean Giroux not too far up the track, 2.2 seconds down the road. See Giroux just ahead of that battle there. No doubt he's watching that in his mirrors, so he has an idea what's going on. But Meager not ready just to settle with that position. Had a look up the inside of Corey Mitchell. Corey was able to hold on to that spot. Starting to open up a gap now on Meager. We'll see if he's able to reel in Sean Giroux up ahead. But battle up front getting a little spicy as Marr now as close as he's ever been on the back of Brian Lemke. Again, we're still waiting for pit stops from all 3 of these drivers. It's like all 3 of them going to go around another time. Wondering right now if maybe, having a look at the last lap times, Brian Lemke, he had a 157.7 lap before, 158.1 last time by. Marr, a 159 or 157.6 last time by. If I was Lemke, I might think about trying to relieve some of the pressure, popping into the pits, getting your service done, let these 2 drivers behind you battle it a little bit, and then come back out and track and see if everything unfolds. Potentially, they could try and push on that out lap or in lap, I guess, while you were in the pits. Potentially cost themselves a little bit of time, either spinning or sliding off track a little bit. Since I mentioned that, it looks like Lemke's opened up the gap now over Joseph Marr. Gap now sitting at about 0.6. So see if any of these three take some strategy or make a strategy call next time by. But Sean Teeter just in no man's land right now here. I usually call it purgatory, where he's got nobody to battle up front of him. Battle for top 3 spots 6 seconds down the road. And he's got 12 seconds over Mark Miller in 5th place. Although it looks like something happened to Chris Diaz. He's fallen back now in behind Justin Atchison again. Not seeing anything here. Do you see Atchison passing Diaz? Let's take a quick look here. See what happened. Oh, Diaz went way off track. Surprised I didn't get anything flagged for him for off track there. And that's going to allow Justin Atchison to get back up into 6th place. So we'll see if Diaz is able to chase him back down. But oh, there we go. Strategy in play. Joseph Mara is going to be the first one to blink out of our top 3. Into the pits he comes. It's like Greenhoe and Lemke going to go around for another lap. So see how much they push on this outlap. They're going to know. They're going to know Joseph Mara's popped in for his service. So the real one that needs to push the most here is Kelly Greenhoe. This is his opportunity to try and close that gap between he and Joseph Mara. So see how quickly Greenhoe pushes in. But let's bring in Brian Zinn, who was waiting in the waiting room. Zinn, we saw in chat there, you're not a big fan of this combo due to the fixed setup. Is it just the setup itself, or just the fact that you can't adjust traction control in ABS?
Mostly the lack of adjustments. I mean, the setup was squirrely from the get-go, but it was manageable. But I've never been a fan of rain racing where you can't adjust TC or anything else. I think it's kind of dumb on iRacing's part that you can adjust brake bias, but you can't adjust TC in cars that have it, even on fixed setup. So, yeah, just wasn't having a good night, and then got kind of shoved out of the way and picked up some damage from Sean Teeter early on and just decided to call it.
Oh, you did get some damage off that door-to-door action after you came out of the pits?
Yeah, it was before pits or whatever. I towed back to the pits afterwards, and it said that all the damage was repairable, but I didn't take a look at and see exactly what I got from it. So no idea if it was cosmetic or just steering or not, or suspension related or not, but just, yeah, kind of that was the end of it for me. This wasn't a good night for me.
I hear you. I wasn't even expecting actually a rain race until, unfortunately I was late getting in because for some reason iRacing decided when I booted up today that I wasn't going to be running at the resolution that I was running before. And I kept trying to rerun graphics config, and it kept coming back trying to put me into like 720p, and I'm running in 4K. Like, well, what's going on here? So I had to actually go in and I just deleted my my monitor settings. Finally it took and grabbed a hold of it. But next week, how you feel about next week? Are you amped up for that one, or is it another one of your Brian's in not happy with the combo list?
No, Coda, I find a way to enjoy everything at Coda.
Is it Coda next week? I thought that was the week after. Let me double check here.
No, it's Coda, then Le Mans, looks like.
Oh, I must have been looking at the wrong schedule.
Yeah, so I don't know if the officials go there or not, but I know Coda is like a 50-50 track in the league on whether you love it or hate it. I know Lemke's not a fan of it, so I'm sure he's going to relish having a good result, looks like, from this week, and hope to salvage something for next week. But Kelly's having a great week. He's surprised at the pace he had in qualifying. I thought I had lucked out and gotten pole just because I figured to get wetter and wetter through qualifying, and then Kelly just found pace somewhere. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the other rain race was start the season. Was it Spa? Was it a rain race? I think.
Yeah. Spa was it started rain and then dried up about halfway through.
Oh, okay.
So
that was another race.
The first one that it's gonna stay wet the whole time. It's like.
There was another race that I think Kelly was strong. Or no, maybe it wasn't Spa, because that was only a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was Red Bull Ring. I can't remember. There was another rain race that we had where Kelly, maybe it was last season, the end of last season, in the Porsche Cup. I think it was Porsche Cup or Road Atlanta, now that I'm thinking of it. But Kelly was really strong in the rain there too as well. And then as it dried out, he kind of faded back. So he's got the, I don't know whether he likes rain or not, but it looks like he's got the know-how to get the car around in the rain, where myself, I really just struggle and hate it. But we got about 3.5 minutes to go in this one. We haven't seen a pit stop from Lemke, Greenhoe, or Teeter up top. Where you were in the car, was there any chance that you could actually make it with no stopping here?
I'll be honest, I didn't look at the fuel. I was just trying to wrangle the heck out of it, and I wasn't even paying attention to fuel. So I was having my challenge with just getting the car to stop. The braking was where I was failing tonight. So, I mean, the pace was several seconds slower than we were running in the dry practice. And I know normally we tend to only be a few gallons short when we have to make a pit stop, unless it's, you know, some crazy high throttle application track like Monza last week. So I think in Apex's history, it's been a case of when it's full rain, you can stretch it all the way to the end on one tank. And it certainly looks like that might be what Lemke and Greenhoe and Teeter are trying to do this go around as well. As it looks like Sean and Jesse Meager are kind of battling there.
Yeah, Sean had a good race going. He just got passed by Corey Mitchell, but Jesse looked up the inside of him. Sean was able to defend it, got himself into 9th place right now. Nice run for him. That's where he qualified. But Sean doing well. The other Sean right now, Teeter, up into 3rd place. Joseph Meyer, only of our top 3. Well, he was in 2nd when he came in, but the only one of our top 4 now that have come into pit. So
yeah, when I saw him come in, I thought maybe he was going to make a switch to dries, and then I saw a couple of camera angles that it looks like Sean Teeter's coming in. But yeah, I thought maybe the rain had led up to make the switch, and then the camera updated, and it's like, nope, it's still raining pretty considerably.
Yeah, it seems like it's been on and off a couple times where I've noticed that there was no rain on the coming down, or in the sun was out, and then a lap or two later it really kind of opened up again, which the forecast keeps going back and forth from it only seems to want to show 0 or 2 or 3% chance of rain. Actually, it's up to 14% there now, but very small percentages for the amount of rain that we've gotten in this race.
Yeah, when I looked at the radar before qualifying, it was kind of a pretty solid band, and then kind of scattered behind it, and maybe some of those scattered showers have formed up more cohesively. So yeah, it definitely looks it was lightening up in the skies, but it looks pretty dark now. So maybe some of those clouds and rain bands are coming through on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to see here with only a minute or so to go. This is going to be the last lap once they head across the line. Well, actually, I should check. I didn't see what time was left when they crossed last time by, but with what do we got, about 45 seconds to go, I suspect Lemke's going to get across to start another lap. So we'll have one more lap to go. If they don't duck in this time, then I think they're, well, assuming they got enough fuel to push it that far, looks like they're going to be able to go without pit stopping this race.
Yeah, I'm curious if this gap closing down that we've seen Kelly be able to take out of Lemke, if it's because of Lemke fuel saving.
He's popping in.
Oh, they both are. Joseph might be in the catbird seat with this one, with that early stop. He may have been able to push, and these guys may have been trying to fuel save to no avail.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
It's going to get spicy on the last lap.
Joseph Meyer heading into the final corner now. Greenhoe and Lemke, they haven't made it into their pits yet. They're still heading down pit lane, so interesting to see. They're just going to need a little splash, but
yeah. Get out there and throw the Coke bottle in the tank and call it a day.
There's Lemke coming out. Meyer going to get a run.
Man.
Oh, it's going to be tight. He's going to get ahead of Greenhoe. Now, Joseph also, well, he's going to have his tires back up to temp. Lemke and Greenhoe are going to be dealing with a little cooler tires. They're only in their stalls for 3.5 seconds, but still that's going to drop a couple degrees of tire temp off. So it'll be interesting to see how well Lemke can stay ahead of Joseph right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, with the rain and the lines you have to take, there's only really a couple of spots that if he can get close enough, he can try and make a move. Anywhere else, I think it's too much of a too high on the risk side of the risk reward calculation there.
Yeah, this section right here, we saw a number of cars go off, actually snap the rear end around here. I don't know if they're running too much brake bias or what it was, but just kind of lost the back end around through there. It's dicey as it is, as you mentioned, just in the dry through that section, it's really easy to lose the back end. The air just kind of comes off the car with the curbs, having to jump over the curbs, but you see a number of drivers actually utilizing the curbs, but surprisingly, nobody's really went flying off through there. But Joseph Meyer putting a ton of pressure on Lemke here now, running out of time, unfortunately, as this is the last lap. There's only about 4 or 5 more corners to go, but in the final sector here, not looking like Meyer going to be able to overtake Lemke unless a mistake happens from Lemke's side of things.
Yeah, I think it would take Lemke going long in the brake zone here. If he keeps it tight, I think he's got it. Couple corners to go here. We'll see how it shakes out. I know Joseph's going to give it all. He's going to go deep in this last brake zone. Maybe try and go around the outside like he did to me in the turn 1 earlier in the race.
Here we go. As you called it, he's trying around the outside. Oh, they're going to door to door.
Joseph's out on that paint. Oh, no.
Oh, he's going to
but he gets a... Oh, wow.
I wonder if Lemke's
he
out
found
of fuel.
All the grip out there. Maybe, yeah.
He was. He's coasting across the line.
Oh.
That would have been interesting to see who would have got the better run through there if Lemke would have had enough fuel. It was a real dash to the end, but another car looks like out of fuel. Chris Diaz is going to go wide. Atchison looking up the inside. Looks like he almost gave him that spot. I wonder if he's having to nurse his fuel load back to the line too as well.
Man, kudos to Joseph. He found that outside grip in turn 1 and the final corner several times in that race and just slingshotted out of those corners.
Yeah, it's really difficult to fight your instincts in the rain, I find, to not try and take the normal racing line just because it's kind of ingrained into you from any other time you've been racing, and then to not get back into the throttle too early and lose the back end. It's kind of fighting like every instinct you have to not do that.
Yeah, especially in the Ferrari, which naturally, even in the dry, will snap the back end if you get on the throttle too eagerly. So it's doubly challenging in a rain scenario. So those that can find the grip, hats off to them. I was not one of those guys tonight.
We see newcomer Felipe Cox across the line. Nice run for the Chilean driver, up 3 spots where he started. Although it looks like it wasn't without issue. The front end of the car a little banged up, but I didn't see anything flag on our system for it. So must have been just some minor stuff, but that's going to do it for the race. Let's take a look at the results here. Looks like we're still waiting for potentially one car to cross the line. We haven't went official yet. Not sure why. All of our drivers are across the line. There we go. iRacing just being a little slow on the draw, but Joseph Meyer going to take it via a lack of fuel by Brian Lemke. In the final corner, he's going to drop 2 spots down to 3rd. Kelly Greenhoe promoted up into 2nd place. Sean Teeter comes home in 4th. Mark Miller in 5th. Justin Atchison, Chris Diaz, Corey Mitchell, Jesse Meager, Sean Giroux going to round out the top 10. Felipe Cox in 11th. Ozik Sulu, Brian Zinn, and Kent Kruger. Unfortunately, don't see the checkered flag. Well, Zinn saw it from the booth here, but not in the car.
I said it from the dry pit box.
I saw it one way or the other, but it's one of those things that happens, unfortunately, into a lot of races. But let's who do we got here? We got Joseph Marr and Brian Lemke in the interview room. Let's bring in Joseph. Joseph, congrats on the win. Looks like you and Lemke went a little elbow to elbow through the final corner, and looks like Lemke ran out of fuel heading to the line, but all said and done, early pit stop looks like it prevailed for you. And how did it go from your side of things?
Yeah, thanks. That was an exciting race. I was really hoping that undercut worked, and it sounds like it did just barely. So all good.
Now, we saw you having to battle with the other guy in the booth here with me right now, Brian Zinn, early on. Looks like maybe I thought you guys were going to kind of work together to chase in Brian Lemke up ahead, and then Zinn unfortunately had his issues afterwards. But next week we head to Coda, a track that Zinn is really content with. How you feeling heading into there with the Ferrari?
We'll see how this week goes. Coda's kind of hit and miss for me.
Okay. Well, excellent stuff, Joseph. How do you feel? How comfortable do you feel driving in the rain? Looks like you were able to find, as Zin had just mentioned before we brought you into the booth, a little bit of pace out of turn one in the final corner there, where you really found a little bit of extra traction that everybody else didn't seem to find. Was that something you practice here, or did it just happen to be what you picked up through the race?
I practiced just a little bit before the race, not much, maybe 5 or 10 laps. But yeah, I just kind of found where the grip was.
Well, excellent stuff, Joseph. Anybody you want to shout out here before we let you go?
Just you, man. Thanks for doing this every week.
Well, great. Appreciate it. Thanks again. And congrats on the
great
win.
run,
We hope
Joseph.
to see you at the sharp end again next week at Dakota.
Thanks a lot.
That was Joseph Marr, our top winner, our first place driver. Let's bring in our third place driver, Brian Lepke. He's in. You want to catch up with Brian Lepke?
Yeah, man, that's a rough finish for you. Did you run out of gas there at the end? Look like from the booth.
I did. I wasn't really sure when I pitted under the white flag how much fuel I was gonna need. So I tried to take like the bare minimum, and then yeah, it sputtered in the last turn. I was like, oh, just a little bit more, and nope, needed to take a little bit extra, I guess.
Yeah, we were talking during those last few laps when Joseph and then Sean went into the pits a few laps later about whether or not you and Kelly could stretch it to the end, and looked like Kelly was kind of closing in on that lap before the white flag lap, and didn't know if you were doing some extra fuel saving or what, and then you guys both dove into the pits. But overall, how was it finding the grip out there in the rain with the Ferrari challenge car?
Yeah, I really struggled with rain when it first came out, but I feel like I'm finally kind of finding my pace and kind of getting a hang of it, and the results are starting to show up, which is really cool. They make for a lot of fun racing. There's a lot of different strategies, and these guys were faster, but I knew that it's a hard track to pass on, so if I could just keep it in between the lines and keep it pointed straight, even if they were a little bit quicker, they may not be able to get around, and just need a little bit more fuel, and we would have been all right.
Yeah, that's how racing goes, especially in the rain. If it starts drying up and you burn just slightly more fuel on those last few laps, it makes all the difference. But man, you were in control for a lot of it and still came out with a podium. So we're heading to probably your least favorite track next week. I know Coda is the bane of your existence. So how you feeling for next week?
Yeah, I might be sick next week. I might have to, like, I don't know, walk my cat or something. We'll see what happens. I can assure, if I'm talking to you guys tomorrow, next week after the race, it was a surprise to me. So
So calling your ISP and scheduling your update for Sunday night.
yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Well, good run. Still had some good points for the championship tonight, even with the third place. And we'll see you next week, Lemke.
Yep, awesome. Thanks a lot, man. Look forward to it.
Hey, good stuff.
Anybody
Take
want to
care.
shout out?
Yes, you guys doing a great job, and Apex for all the stuff that they do. Keep this league going. It's been a lot of fun all these years racing with all you guys, so I enjoy it.
We should actually give a shout out to Brian Lemke himself before we let him go. He's the guy behind all the great prizes in Apex this, and actually got a nice one still sitting on my desk here right now. I think probably one of the best ones you came up with, Lemke. The shot glasses with the platter and the Apex this branding on them. It sits on my desk every day, and I look at it every day. So great job on that stuff. I can't wait to see what you got in store for this season.
Yeah, it's getting harder to come up with creative things, but everybody seems to be enjoying them. I know the shot glasses were a huge hit, so maybe we can pivot something off that in the future. We'll see. You never know.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck, Brian. We hope to see you again next week. As you mentioned, if it went well, we'll be talking to you. If not, we'll probably showing you in the highlights.
That sounds like a plan.
Take care.
Bye.
So that was our inevitable third place finisher, Brian Lemke. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up here. Zin, thanks for popping into the booth here after your, well, I don't want to say uneventful, after your uninspired race where you decided to call it quits in the end.
It was soggy in the air and soggy on the track. We'll leave it at that.
And hot behind the wheel.
Absolutely, yeah. Fun to hop in. Thanks for having me, Rob. And hopefully, I'm talking to you in the post-race interview and not during the race next week. So I'll see you next time.
You just put a ton of pressure on yourself now for next week, being COTA one of your favorite tracks. So you know it's going to have to go well.
Yeah, except this time because it is COTA, I'll actually put some practice in. I didn't get much practice at Hungaroring this week, and I definitely didn't know it was a rain race until I loaded in with 20 minutes to go. So I kind of made my own bed tonight.
Best of luck next week's in, and thanks for popping in. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, cheers, Rob. See you next week.
Take care. That was Brian's in. That's going to wrap it up from here in Hungary at the Hungaroring. As I mentioned, next week we head to COTA, the Circuit of Americas. So it should be an interesting race. I don't expect rain next week, but I do expect a whole bunch of Ferrari 296 challenge cars flying over the insane-sized turtle curbs at COTA, which those curbs are a bit of a bane of my existence at COTA. So tune in next week. For now, I'm Rob Campbell. This is Racer Nexus, and we'll catch you next week. Bye now.